Hello everyone! Welcome back to this game. When we last left off, we have arrived here and are about to be introduced to the king and queen and talk about an upcoming war. Also, we found Bolus here. My dear King Hotaru and Queen Lorana, I humbly ask that you please now receive our human friends from Elvinia's sister world. Uri Isley, Lynn Cadence, Dusk Langston, and Harrison Cole into your esteemed presences. Okay, Bolus, you do a much better job at remembering names than I do, I tell you that. Considering you only met them like once, maybe twice. Yeah, probably twice. I'm surprised you remember their last names. So we have King Hotaru. Yes, thank you, Bolus. And thank you as well, Princess, in presenting these four to us in the first place. Even though it was Bolus who did that because he kind of interrupted you. The Strikeback is asking if Bolus ever met Harrison. Yes, Bolus met Harrison when he was a chicken. It is as you say, after all, their gracious help will no doubt be invaluable to the Holy City. Dusk bows. We are truly honored to be received personally by your grace. Her Majesty the Queen and our dear Princess Rachel, my friends and I are no more worthy to bow within your presences than we are to be called upon by the good people of Elvinia to come to their defense against this unholy army. Forgive us for not having shown the proper respect immediately upon our entering into the presence of such esteemed royalty. Priyan, Shermes, and Michiru knowingly aloud, Ahem! Marie, Lynn, and Harrison quickly bow before the king and queen as well. By the way, I know it is definitely polite to bow to royalty like this, and I would totally do that myself. But I find the talk of being unworthy so freaking annoying. Please, my dear human children from the other world, let us not embarrass ourselves with formalities at this moment. Thank you! It is the Foxloon family that is honored to welcome fellow children of the goddess from Elvinia's sister world into the holy city. I am King Hotaru Roran Foxloon. Pleased to meet you. And I am Queen Lorana... Oh gosh. Etaxeria Foxloon. I am grateful that Mr. Bolus Rune had the gracious forethought to introduce the four of you to my husband and I before anything else, and also the princess, so that we would recognize your names without having to be so rude as to ask this of you ourselves. At least considering the unforgivably selfish plea we must make of you on behalf of all Neraka. Not at all, your majesty. I take it that you all have already become acquainted with our daughter, the princess. Princess Rachel says with a bow, At your service, sirs. By your leave, my honored father and mother, perhaps Sir Bolus and I shall now excuse ourselves. Indeed. Shall we go, princess? If the two of you would, please remain present for the duration of this meeting. After all, the unfortunate situation Neraka has found itself in should concern one who formerly called Neraka his home, as well as the princess of that very city that is now in danger. Yes, your majesty. Indeed, the fact that I was once a member of this beautiful city's holy army drives me to fulfill the promise that every one of army's knights has sworn to uphold, though I myself may no longer be a knight, and that is to defend Serena's treasured city to my last breath alongside my former brothers and sisters of the Neraka knighthood. No, neat, you are a knight. I wonder how strong you are. I am sure that those siblings of yours will be as grateful to hear of that kind of loyalty as we are, Pleas. Even with our time growing as short as it is, my children, might you first be so gracious as to give my wife, daughter, and myself a brief account on what has led you here on account of our summons? We wouldn't mind at all, your majesty. Oh, well, if I had known that this moment would be coming, this would have been the point I would have taken an episode break. Oh well. And that's about it. We certainly could not refuse the same request, all made by a king, a queen, a princess, and a really hot elf girl, you see? King, queen, princess, and a hot elf girl. But this is a girl? Or are you talking about Tessera? You're probably talking about Tessera. That is indeed a fascinating story. For you all to have somehow survived such great trials up to this point alone more than proves that you just may be the deciding factor in whether the Holy City lives to see another day once it is attacked by the Dark Lord's army. Your having also overcome the superior magical powers of the monster that had possessed poor Lisa's spirit, and successfully helping the Holy Priestess's daughter redeem her after the fact on top of that, is perhaps the most amazing part of all, I believe. Certainly, every last soul in Elvenia owes you for their gratitude for that one deed alone. We only did what was right, my queen. You didn't do anything. You were up on the surface being a chicken. And now, may Her Majesty, Princess Rachel, and myself make our formal request to you to help protect the Holy City from this invasion. If we may speak on this before the Foxloon royal family, please do not feel as though you are under obligation to do this. You see, we've made up our minds already that we want to help you, and we have no reservations or doubts on that decision. And Harrison speaks for all of us on that. You said that it is an unforgivably selfish request that you make of us, my queen. Yet the only selfish act would be our refusal to help you all simply because you've done nothing first to cause us to be in your debt. If we turn away and ignore the Holy City's cry for help, then you all may very well fall prey to the darkness. And no one with half a heart could allow something so horrible to happen on their conscience without caring. It seems we have made some very good friends. Alright, we shall speak no more on this. May I say simply that you have our undying gratitude, children. I don't know why it is hard for me to read sometimes. Now then, with the pleasantries aside, let us adjourn to the heart of the matter. Yes, may we ask for your majesty to inform us of the Holy Army's current situation from a military standpoint? Of course. It is very important that you four have a grasp on this, as the strongest defenders to be positioned in the vanguard of the army, after all. Princess, if you would, please. As you wish, my queen. Thus far, it would appear that the number of soldiers who serve in the Holy Army are nearly twice as great as the number of members in the enemy fleet, although this is only an exceptionally rough estimate that our elven spies, who we've sent to intercept them at the western edge of Yuzuki, were able to affirm for us. We have at least 2,000 able combatants on our side, while the enemy army is composed of only 1,100 or so members, 1,200 at most. Also, with our side being the defenders who can await the enemy's pleasure until they choose to attack Neraka, as well as our side having a much greater familiarity with the surrounding topography than they do, considering that the enemy originates from another continent entirely, I would say that Neraka easily possesses the tactical advantage in this battle. Still, we do find it awfully peculiar that the Dark Lord would not provide greater numbers than this to assault the largest nation in all of Elvania, so we dare not take this lightly, lest the few prove strong enough for the many. So your Majesty has already sent out a team to gather information on the enemy? Yes, and that is where the downside of our military situation comes in. Princess? The opposing army appears to be composed almost entirely of ogre demons. In other words, with a lack in numbers, they may very well make up for in combat skill, not to mention brute strength. Okay, I don't really want to interrupt this conversation, but I want to mention this while I'm still thinking about it, otherwise I'll forget. I just noticed that the king is not using a king sprite. I gotta applaud that for not using a generic king sprite. And in fact, now that I think about it, the princess is not using a generic princess sprite, so I like those choices. Anyway, ogres. Ogre demons? The horned ogres were a race of demi-humans who had for some reason once shifted loyalty from Serena and now to the Dark Lord. Thus, many other demi-human races came to term them as the ogre demons. They are easily the most physically daunting of all races in Elvania. Even the most undiscipled among them will probably still be a match for any one of the best of our soldiers, due simply to the destructive power of their enormous chain scythe weapons, which are fully capable of cutting through armor made from even the hardest of metals. Shifted loyalty, she says? If these demi-humans could actually sell themselves to the cause of darkness, then I do not see how they could have belonged to Serena in the first place. So that's where we come in, basically. We have to make up for this difference in strength. We regret to say this, for I understand, and sympathize, mind you, that it is not you dear children's desire to fight. Yet you are the only ones who can possibly stand up to the enemy's leader, as you have already become far stronger than any Elvenian living. Rest assured, however, my friends, we do not find value in you all because of your physical strength, but rather you are precious to us because of the selfless nature of your hearts. We understand that wholeheartedly, my dear queen, and thank you. If only we were but more worthy of your praise. Oh, stop it. So the main objective of us four is to find and engage the army's commander. Yes, if the leader falls, then the rest of the enemy is sure to turn to full retreat. Thus, the fewer casualties there will be for our side. And theirs. Does that really work? It's always a plot point in these video games where if you defeat the leader, everybody else runs. I somehow doubt that would actually work in real life. Our spies have confirmed that the leader, who calls himself Gorgon Ghidra, rides almost at the very head of the army, so it shouldn't be any problem for our side to open up a clear path to him for you four as soon as the fight begins. We will do our best to keep all possible obstacles out of your way. Your safety will be of the highest priority to us in this battle, I assure you. You can trust us implicitly with your lives. Thank you, sire. Still, please take care of your own soldiers at the same time. Their lives are each just as important as any of ours. Of course. We have plenty of time to make other plans as well, fortunately, as it is calculated that we have at least 10 days before the enemy reaches us. When our spies last saw them, they weren't even halfway across the Yuzuki Plains to the Holy City, and ogres cannot travel very swiftly over flat terrain anyway. Really? That's kind of weird. So you're saying they travel faster over mountains? I'm curious how that works. At the mention of time being on our side, allow us to defer to another matter, one that could be of invaluable use to us where defeating Gorgon Ghidra is concerned. Your Majesties! Your Majesties! Please allow me to enter in and speak with you momentarily. Is that Admiral Williams' voice? Something is definitely wrong. Princess, please ask the guards to stand aside for him. Old friend! Huh? Oh! It's Pleas! And the four laddies from the other world are here too. I'm dreadfully sorry, but there isn't any time for idle chatter right now. My dear Admiral, what troubles you, sir? William hastily bows to the king and queen. Please forgive my sudden intrusion, my liege, but I am in big trouble. What can we do to help, Admiral? Surely the Leviathan fleet is not being attacked again. We're not aware of any activity from the Dark Lord's army still taking place over on the north side of the continent where you and are stationed. At least not since the four Earthlings' daring exploit over in that region the other day. No, it isn't that, thankfully, my liege. My few comrades who remain are all still safely harbored at the pier. But Miss Felice is missing! Paprika? You mean that little loud-mouthed little fairy chick? Okay, though I do have trouble reading the dialogue in this game, it's not specifically this game, because there have been other games that I have had trouble reading dialogue. Just wanted to mention that. Please tell me, did Paprika happen to come to Neraka at any point in the last day or two? Why, no, she hasn't. Why? Oh no. Then she must have gone to Ebony Fields. There's no other logical place she could have run off to. But why, of all places in Elvenia, would she have gone there? Wait. Just wait a moment, everyone. Where is this Ebony Fields that you think Paprika ran off to? And why would she run away from you in the first place, Willie? Ebony Fields is a long stretch of forested plains located to the far southwest of here, all the way across the continent. It received its name on account of the fact that the land is always engulfed in the darkness of nighttime. Daylight never seems to touch the fields, no matter what the time of day it is. It is truly one of Elvenia's greater mysteries. Well, if it's a mystery, good, then I don't have to actually ask, how does that work? When those Narakan soldiers who had come to Lelia in search of you laddies had happened to pass through the Leviathan Fleece encampment at the North Harbor, Paprika had overheard my conversation with them about the sighting of the ogre army that was marching up from Arcovale to the Holy City, and so she expressed a great desire to be of help to her friends from the other world in this next crisis that they would be facing. Sigh. I guess she already knew that we would be soft enough to quickly resign ourselves to getting involved with the battle that Neraka must face. Well, basically, what happened was, when me Paprika spoke of her concerns to me, I made it quite clear that it would be much too dangerous for a little lass like her to be following after you four laddies into. It would be dangerous for anyone, really. Much less a pint-sized polyester girl who wouldn't have the strength to lift a weapon and could be reduced to dust just from the backhanded slap of one of those scurvy demons. But what does going halfway across the Abyline Reef to the fields have to do with helping us for? It must be the sword. Sire? If Paprika was so desperate to make a difference for those she loves by helping to turn the odds of our winning the upcoming battle in our favor, then she could have only thrown herself into such danger for the purpose of finding the Rudra sword from where it lies dormant underneath the ocean that borders the west coast of the fields, and then bringing it to the Holy City. It's the only rational explanation for a little girl like her daring to set foot into such an accursed place. I was actually about to suggest that Uri and the other three go find the sword themselves before William burst into the room a while ago. Huh. What an interesting coincidence. In fact, I would almost call it plot convenience. That said, I am definitely glad that this sword that we are talking about is not called something generic like the Excalibur. Why is that? Of what significance is the Ruda blade? It is a weapon made entirely of sapphire metal that is infused with the properties of thunder elemental magic. Indeed, a very unique sword. We do not know more about the sword than that, for no normal Elvenian could ever survive the danger the Albany feels to lay eyes on it. Hence, that is why we intended to suggest that you four brave children try to look for the Rudra blade, as such a weapon would greatly improve your chances against Gorgon Ghidra when you face him. Most ogre demons are very skilled in the use of water magic, you see. She did say something about retrieving a sword that could banish even the deadliest winged demon back to the abyss, so it is for certain that she is on her way to the fields as we speak. Oh, this is all my fault. Then, let's get over to Ebony Fields and rescue her before she gets herself killed. She'll be dinner for the monsters who inhabit that place for sure if they catch her. You'd help me look for her, Bliss? But then how can we defend Neraka when the army gets here? I don't mean to hate on Paprika, but there's no way we could hope to get back here in time if we went all the way to Ebony Fields, is there? How can you be so callous? We must go save her. Leave that to me. If you can travel as swiftly as possible back to the North Harbor where the Rosalina is docked, then I am certain that I can get us down to the fields and back in time. How much time was it you said remained before the army would most likely reach Neraka, sire? 10 days? Yes. By all means, my children, if you wish to help the good Admiral in searching for Miss Felice, then it is our wish as well. Please do not fail Paprika as the friends she cares for so much that she is willing to go to these extremes to help them. Will the Holy City be safe in the meantime, sire? Worry not. Even if you cannot return in time, I am certain that we will be able to hold out well enough against the enemy until you can make it back. Besides, it is definitely worth the risk if you can retrieve the sword as well as save poor Paprika. And she needs you all now, much more than the Holy City does. Nevertheless, with your permission, my queen, I will stay here in the event that these plans we have made do not turn out as we are hoping. Please understand, Admiral, I am just as worried for the dear girl as all of you are, but... I know, Pleas. You have an obligation here as well. Thank you, anyway. I will stay as well. The other three with Crazy Willie should be more than enough to save her, and Neraka will barely be able to get by as it is with just Pleas and myself on guard duty if Gorgon's army makes it here first. Yeah, I had a feeling one of my teammates would be staying behind. Go figure is the character who can attack a group of enemies. Yeah, right. You are just hoping that Tessera will become so worried for us that she'll come to Neraka herself at some point in the next few days. And then only Pleas will be present to keep your hormones in check if she does. You know, this group has got to be fun to hang around. Thank you all for your help, really. We will depart whenever you are ready, Uri. Your most gracious majesties, honored princess. Listen, we cannot afford to waste any time. There's no way you'll be able to make it all the way across Sibuline Reef to the north shore where the Admiral currently has the ships stationed, then down to the fields, and back to the Holy City, all in just the next 10 or so days, if you were to go on foot. And that's really about all the time we have left before the enemy army is estimated to arrive at the borders to this region. In order to speed your errand along, I'll have 4 members of Neraka's fastest mode of transportation, running burrs of approximate equivalence in size to humans that are in no way related to chocobos. Sure, no relation to chocobos. Carry you across the continent for this particular trip. And besides, more importantly than the sword used to defeat Gorgon, you must hurry to save that friend of yours. Paprika's life is, in no doubt, in great danger. Uri, Lynn, Harrison, and Dusk bow. Thank you, Your Majesty. We'll have your carriage waiting for you all at the palace gates in a matter of minutes. Please take the time to properly prepare for what is sure to be your most dangerous journey yet. The armory is located in the northwestern wing of the palace. See to it that you are fitted to rescue that young lady and claim the Rudra blade with only the most well-made weapons available in your hands. The monsters in the southern part of Sibuline Reef have certainly become no picnic to contend with these days. Godspeed, my dear children. Uri rises up. Don't you worry about a thing, my queen. We'll be back to protect you and your holy city from those mindless puppets of the Dark Lords before you know it. I am relieved to hear that. And that brings that scene to a close. Let's go on an episode break, because I kind of need one. We will be right back. And when we come back, we got some shopping to do. And also, some trading.